Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of LodeStar's Lending Leaders. My name is Elena Gardner, Sales and Marketing Director here at LodeStar. And this week, I'm joined by my fellow Director of Data Operations, Ron Carvalho. And we're going to talk a little bit about how he got here and what he does here at LodeStar. Welcome, Ron.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah, so I always like to ask kind of what do you do here for us at LodeStar? You know, I know you're not the most forefront person in the world, so it's always nice to know what other departments we have.
So as I like to say, if we've done our job right, then you pretty much don't know we exist. Typically, we handle the back end of things, recording fees, transfer taxes, title insurance premiums, those sort of things. So all the back end sort of fees and rates that hopefully you don't need to interact with or really think about. And basically, if we're doing our job correctly, you don't have to worry about it. So, we keep up with all the underwriters in all 50 states plus DC. We keep up with all of the states as well as the counties and sometimes down to the city level as far as recording fees, transfer taxes, all the governmental fees, and the title premium rates.
Yeah, and it's a very niche topic. Kind of, how did you end up there? You know, when you're talking about your career progression, right?
So actually, I started working at another title company, title settlement company, in 2016. So what is it now? 6 years ago. Wow. And I worked in the escrow department. So I was doing that for quite a while. And at one point, there was an opening in a position that was essentially the software management side of things, which is closely related to escrow in such that, it's very important to get things right, very detail oriented, making sure that if things are incorrect, that they are corrected quickly and efficiently. So I was moved over to that side of things, probably a little over 2 years ago at this point now. And then LodeStar, I guess, saw the potential in me and wanted me to come on over. So I came on over here and been here since. So I've actually been with LodeStar a little over a year now. And it's been great so far.
I know I enjoy, we don't get to work directly together very often, but I do enjoy working with you. So it's been great. I mean, I definitely think that it's a really interesting thing that you guys do and your team does, because it's so nitty gritty and so detail oriented that so many people don't want to do it, right? Very stare and compare as you would.
Yeah. So yeah, it's as you said, it's very detail oriented. Definitely not something a lot of people enjoy, but totally right up my alley. I'm the type of person that'll run a spreadsheet for my own personal life budget. So, I genuinely enjoy making sure that everything comes through as it's supposed to come through.
Yeah. And then what would you say, I think there's a lot of talk right now about needing to code in these positions as people are looking, especially to branch out and the great resignation is happening. What would you say to someone who's looking for a position like yours? What are the technical skills that you think they would need to be successfall?
To be honest with you, when I had first started in this field, I had basically no experience with what I was doing. Again, it's been 6 years. So I think at this point, I've gained a lot of insight and knowledge specifically to this field, but I wouldn't under or downplay the importance of field specific knowledge. So, I know a lot about this specific field, and it does play into that a lot where there's just general questions that if someone were to ask me, I find an easy answer, but not always would someone be able to answer it, even based off of what you might think, because sometimes the answers are counterintuitive. Something that I have found that has helped me in this position specifically is just being able to learn and adapt, use just generally computers well, but also, SQL. Just being able to operate a database is a huge advantage because, there's so much data, so much information that's being handled on a day-to-day basis. And then in retrospect, when you look back and if there is an error or if there is some sort of odd edge case that you have to find out, you have to know how to be able to search that out within your database and pull that up. So I would say things like SQL are very useful for this type of job.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I've definitely heard that. I mean, I personally, I like to joke with our customers when they ask me, oh, can we see your list of title agents in the database or whatever? I'm like, trust me, you don't want it. And I can't give it to you because they won't give me access for a very good reason. And I think that's so important too. I think how we do business here at LodeStar is just finding people's best skills and putting them in those places, right? I think your team is a great example of that in how you guys are so detail oriented and make things happen. Uh, you guys put out a report every month as well with all of the changes for underwriters and all of that we supply to our clients, as well as, you've been great working with us on the LE challenges articles that we've published on our website, where we're breaking down, if anyone doesn't know, we're breaking down every single state and the challenges that people face with transfer taxes and recording fees and all of that. And it's definitely interesting to see when I meet with you and Jim, you guys both light up when we start diving into the nitty gritty of transfer taxes. So I think that's actually one of my favorite pop-up questions for you. What transfer tax do you think is the most quote unquote fun or unique? That's a transfer tax recording fee. There's a few that I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, so I'll tell you, there's multiple sides to every story, and to the same point with the data operations team, we don't just handle the recording fees and transfer taxes. We also handle the underwriters per state, sometimes per county. And there's a lot of things that go into that. So I will go ahead and say that as far as and I know you asked about transfer taxes, recording fees, but
any fun fee.
So Texas is a monster when it comes to calculating the R8 credit, and that is more for the title premium side of things for underwriters. If you're off with that, it can be a beast. So that is definitely something that's always kind of interesting to keep track of and see how they modify things. It's been a little bit since they've modified them, but when they do, they typically change a lot at once. So it's always important to stay on top of that. And then New York, when it comes to recording fees and transfer taxes, I mean, you've got New York, then you've got New York City, plus all the boroughs. They've got, mansion taxes. And when it comes to the recording side of things, New York is definitely complex. So it's always fun to sort of dive into that and like sort of reverse engineer what the heck they're doing. Excuse me for that, but they change one thing and it affects everything. So a lot of the times, if we'll get something that seems to be a discrepancy, we kind of start to dig in, and then as we reverse engineer, it all starts to make sense. And once things start to click, that's definitely something that gets me excited. As I mentioned, I like to dig through it and figure out what's going on. And when things start to click, that really motivates me. It makes me feel good to know that we finally know what's going on. We got it sorted right, and we'll make sure everyone gets the right fees.
Yeah, I personally love demoing New York. I was so afraid of it at first. And as I've grown to know more and more about the mortgage industry, it's when I do get to demo it, because a lot of lenders choose not to do business in New York, because I get it. We get it, we promise. When you tell me you do business in 49 states, I know which one you don't do business in. And it's so interesting to see the lenders that do business in New York get so excited about things like the mansion tax and stuff like that when they see that number being applied based off of logic and all of that. And it's so much fun to get to kind of demo these things that our system does so well, thanks to the data team. And I know we're very much in transfer taxes and all of that right now. And you guys have to understand, like, this is something we actually get excited about and we actually geek out over, because we're all a bunch of, as you can tell by my background, we're all a bunch of geeks. We're all a bunch of nerds. It's fine. Even on the sales side, we're a bunch of nerds. So it's something we genuinely get excited about, because it is fun, kind of. I've realized most people probably don't think transfer taxes are fun. But here we are.
Yeah, no, and I 100% agree. To that point, I genuinely, if something is off, it bugs me. So I'm the type of person that I will stay late, get up early. If something is bothering me, I'm thinking about it even when I'm not here. I just want the numbers to come out correct. And if they're not correct, that's a problem. Like, I take it personally, because sort of as an overarching theme, again, if you have to think about it, if you're questioning why something is off, then aside from whether or not you say anything to me, it bothers me. I want it correct. So I like things to make sense.
No, that makes total sense. And, to kind of jump off of transfer taxes, we always like to talk about what people are passionate about outside of work. And I think it's so important to talk about it as leaders as well, to define, we're more than just our careers. We have our families and all of that. What's something that gets you, excited is a fun hobby. I know I've probably made the joke to too many people at this point that you look great in a Ghostbusters uniform.
Well, and again, I hate to
Putting
sort
you
of
on the
bring it
spot.
back, but I think I mentioned this earlier, where I maybe this sounds silly to some people. I like math. Math is fun to me. I like when things line up. I'm the type of person that I have a budget every month. I have a spreadsheet. I've created a monster of a spreadsheet just to keep track of my spending and investments and things like that, where it's just, give me an Excel sheet and tell me what to figure out, and that's what I'll do. So, if I have something that's sitting there in my inbox that, a client has brought up, hey, there's a discrepancy they've noticed, or they're not sure why this is calculating a certain way, I have a genuine personal curiosity to figure out where that's coming from and how to correct it. It's not just a job to me when it comes to making sure that things are lining up and coming out correctly. It's legitimately what I like to do on my spare time.
Yeah, I need you to come in and just do my budget. Thank you so much. That'd be great.
I will happily create a spreadsheet for you. More than happily.
I've tried so many spreadsheets. I always forget about them.
Listen, nothing beats custom.
Nothing beats custom. Trust me, I've tried. So yeah, the one thing that we always like to ask our guests as well, is kind of what gets you out of bed in the morning and excited for the day?
Again, I feel like I already kind of said this, but I like when things make sense. And if something doesn't make sense to me, if I'm stuck on something, that just means I'm going to spend more time doing it, because I like to understand what's going on around me. I like to learn, really. So, even working at LodeStar, and I have to admit, I've worked at larger company before, and working at LodeStar, it's great. They're always willing to, help me with further education, learning additional things that will help me with my job performance, but even just general. So I'm always excited to learn. I'm always excited to get up out of bed in the morning, make sure that what we're providing everybody is correct and right. And if not, to figure out why, and then address it from there. Again, maybe I'm just a nerd, but I guess that comes with the territory of being on the data team. Is I like numbers. Numbers make sense. You can't argue with math. If it doesn't work, there's got to be a reason, and there's always a solution. So
cool. So did you know there's actually a version of Wordle that's math problems?
I did not, and I actually like Wordle, so I think you will have to send that to me.
Yeah, I have to find it, but there is a math problem version of Wordle where you solve the equation.
I'm genuinely excited. Please send that to me when you find it.
Genuinely.
I'm serious.
Well, thank you so much, Ron, for joining me. And if anyone at all has a question for Ron or how we manage our data, we're more than happy to answer. One of our biggest values here at LodeStar is clarity. And you won't find us guarding our information for anything, At the end of the day, our value is much greater as employees. It's not one answer from Ron, it's every answer from Ron and his team. And we're so thankful for all of our clients and all that allow us to keep growing. So thank you so much, Ron. Happy, I shouldn't say this will be coming out on Thursday. It is currently Monday as we record this. So thank you so much for joining me. And anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, I just appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm always open to questions. more than happy to solve any problem you've got thrown my way. So if you're ever unsure of why something came out a certain way, feel free to reach out to us. I'm more than happy to explain it.
Thank you so much. And we'll see you all next week with our next episode.